Oh yeah, guys. Before I get to this last segment of the video, be sure to hit the like button. It's free. It don't cost you a damn thing. So it supports us. And thank you guys for watching us, man. Like y'all can watch other better content. I know I'm not that great at this. I'm trying. Like that's why hopefully Liz and Mike can like really take over for me. Like I just focus on, making sure that, the videos are up on the platforms and all that stuff. But I don't mind talking either, but I want more of the voices on here. So hit the like button, man. That supports us in the long run. So last topic I want to talk about here is these people on your screen, along with Chris Hedges. They worked at big tech. They basically, exposed the dirty tactics that their employers did. Um, which it's good to hear the truth from people that actually work inside of these places. Um, so yeah, I thought this would be interesting. I'm not gonna play the whole thing because it's 30 minutes long, and also support Chris Hedges. Follow him on YouTube. Type in Chris Hedges' YouTube channel, and it'll pop up. So he does amazing work. So yeah, I'm gonna play this video and break it down.
Let's begin with you, Tarek, and then we'll go get everyone else. Let's talk about your own attempts to challenge this perversion of information and what happened to you, and then all of you have similar experiences. I think you represent 3 of what the 5 largest tech companies in the United States, probably in the world. But let's begin with you, Tarek.
Yeah, I mean, so I think one thing to start off with and make it extremely clear is that this suppression did not start after October 7th.
Wow, so he from Apple. Okay, his name Tarek. Okay. Um, yeah, I just looking at that. Okay.
I personally faced suppression for supporting Palestine in January of 2023 when I was wearing a Palestine flag pin on my lapel. Been wearing it like...
I'm gonna say this. I give credit to anybody. I know Liz talked about Palestine before October 7th. I know RBN. All of those guys talked about it. Like, yeah, it's good to know that the occupation happened before October 7th. Um, so like even Dwight Howard, he tweeted "Free Palestine." He was an NBA player. He retired now, but he said "Free Palestine" on Twitter, and he damn near lost his job because of his livelihood for saying "Free Palestine" on Twitter. Using his free speech. And I hate when people say we don't have free speech. I hate when people say we have free speech in this country. No, we don't. no, we don't. All right, guys, let me get to
that. For months at that point, and a Zionist couple complained about it. And my managers, and this goes to show kind of like discrepancy between like people, like the people we work with every day in the corporations. My managers were super supportive, even though the Zionist couple wanted to force me to take it off in front of my manager. My manager was like, "No, we're not going to do that." He ran the line up to HR. HR had a call with legal. HR and legal came back to me and said, I am wearing the pin could be considered, not that it is, but it could be considered by customers to be political solicitation and had to be removed. That's when I first realized, like, oh, what's going on? And then,
so wait a minute. So if you wear Israel pin, shouldn't that be the same thing? I bet if you wore Israel pin, they would not make a big deal about it. But see, see, a double standard. Yeah, like, or he wore a Ukraine pin. Same thing. For example, like, yeah. I bet won't be no big deal, but because he's on the right side of history, like, yeah. Let me continue. Like, I can pause this every 3 seconds, but I know y'all want to watch to see what they got to say. So.
October 7th happened. 2 days later, Tim Cook emails the entire company with a headline stated Israel, advocating for sympathy for the loss of innocent civilian life and like niceties towards team members that may have lost families or have people in the area. Over a year now of this genocide, and Apple has not acknowledged any Palestinian suffering in the same way. And what that has prompted me to do is in March of this past year, I helped co-found an organization now called Apples Against Apartheid. It's an organization dedicated to advocating that Apple stands up for Palestinians the same way that they were able to stand up for Israelis, and shedding a light into Apple's complicity in Israel. And we had over 400 plus customers, we had over 400 current and former Apple employees sign an open letter demanding that they at least say something. And it has not really done much. Executives see our movement. I was explicitly told when I sent an email on October 10th responding to Tim Cook's October 9th email, I was explicitly told by my own manager that Tim Cook read my email. Tim Cook nor any of the executive teams did not feel like I was worthy of the respect to respond to. Completely ignored our requests. When this community Slack channel was shut down after the Zionists were coming in and harassing and mass messaging people, we had 3 community chats with executive leaderships over the course of 6 months. No response. They did not bring the channels back. And what it has now evolved to is this past weekend, Black Friday weekend, we Apples Against Apartheid organized the second mass coordinated protest against Apple stores worldwide. We had protesters show up in over 12 cities in 10 countries to advocate that they end their silence, not just on Palestine, but also in Congo, because this is a global movement. This is like all of our struggles are united. And we shut down the store on Black Friday weekend. We shut down the flagship in Seattle. We had a die-in. We chained ourselves to the table. And I think we will continue to move forward and as much as we have to, because they, like many other companies, see these movements. They recognize what's happening. They've had conversations with many of us. They acknowledge that what we are asking them to do, which is be equitable, stand up for social justice, which is what you're marketing for, and they continue not to. And so, for Apple, we will continue to bring the fight to their doorstep until they actually, stand up to their so-called claims of social justice and racial equity.
Explain what's happening in the Congo and why. I mean, I think you are very prescient to raise that issue, but explain why, and then also explain your own firing.
Absolutely. So the reason that we, Apples Against Apartheid, worked with Friends of the Congo to bring awareness to make those glasses, whether it's Microsoft for building the chips for their servers, right? They all use minerals that are mined directly from Congo. And there are artisanal scale mines where cobalt and other minerals are found and they're mined by civilians. Children, women trying to feed their families because they get a paycheck for being able to bring these minerals and sell these minerals.
One thing that gets me is that this is why instead of these companies axing the Congo for their minerals, they're just using slavery basically to take it to make these fucking the computer I'm using, the laptop I'm using, your cell phones, your TVs, even your lithium-ion batteries, guys. Your Teslas, your EVs, the sources for that come from the Congo. And you see these pictures. Earlier, last year, I played that video about now this was years ago. The BBC went to the Congo and did investigative journalism about what's really happening there. Yeah, man, it's sad. I'll let them continue a little bit more. Let me see. I'll let them continue a little bit more. I want to get to everybody explaining why they don't work this.
It's off, but what's happening is the mines are dangerous. They collapse in and of themselves, and these corporations use third parties to extract these minerals and that's then sold to them, and they don't want any business in the actual mining, the problems of the mine. So they use third-party sources to come in and check, go, are your minerals conflict free? Which they aren't. There are armed groups. So basically the way that it works is these minerals are mined in Congo. Many of the minerals are then sold to Rwanda by these armed groups, and Rwanda sells it and says, "Oh, hey, look, we got those minerals ourselves. We don't have any child labor or any human rights violations happening in our mines," and that's how they're able to get away with that. So basically,
Man, these motherfuckers slick as hell. Alright, I said they slick. Oh, okay. They slick, but it still come from the Congo. No matter for example, if I get it with China, where China got it from. See what I'm saying? Or Norway, or Germany, or France. France. Yeah, yeah, France. Oh boy. I just, yeah.
we're trying to bring attention to the fact that you are literally using minerals that come from Congo. You should be paying the Congolese people adequately, and you should be making sure that the Congolese people are not suffering to get these minerals that you are required for your products.
And your own
and then,
firing.
yes.
Tell me about that.
And when it comes to my firing, I was fired 3 weeks after I published an op-ed on Mondo Weiss, going in depth into how racist Apple was being. It goes into the donation matching. It goes into the Slack messages, the meetings with executives, and the racism that many Palestinian employees were facing all around the world. And 2 weeks later, I was trying to film, a video of myself doing my job for some B-roll, because I was asked for it for an interview. I said, sure, I can do that. And apparently, that is the technicality that they got on, because I was using my personal device on the phone, and they're concerned about customer safety. I had an HR investigation the next day, and was fired 3 days later on that Monday, which is wild because I've been a part of HR investigations, and these things normally take weeks, and they were able to action upon my mishap immediately. Never mind the fact that I worked for this company for over 10 years, was a solid employee, had never had any sort of issue with the company whatsoever. They didn't care about that.
Exactly. They don't care. Like, yeah, to be honest with you, you can be the best worker on any job, and yeah, yeah, when it comes to you using your free speech or one mishap to them, like, yeah, you're out. It's just the way it is. Shout out to this guy though. He doing work. He actually organizing. Like, he trying to get the word out. He's just not. You know what I mean? Like, he actually walking the walk.
They were waiting for me to mess up so that they can get me on that technicality, and not for the fact that I'm advocating for Palestine.
Some of them have seen it before, and they're still in awe just as much.
First began working for Meta, what you thought Meta was, why you were excited to work for Meta, and then follow that trajectory to your own dismissal.
Yeah. So I've been working in tech for a while, but my personal passion has been community building, and I've worked with various nonprofit organizations. And one of the organizations that I worked with was the Sisterhood of Salam Shalom, back when I lived in San Diego, where it brings together Muslim women and Jewish women together in friendship. And the idea is first establish these personal relationships, get to know someone as a human being before engaging in these more controversial topics. So this chapter that we started in San Diego, I started it with my friend Eliza. It was really made possible by Facebook. We just created this Facebook group. It allowed us to have discussions. It was easy to put up events. It was easy to see who's joining. By the end of it, we had almost 400 members. And I saw the power of Facebook to build community. And I thought, wow, what a company that aligns with my personal mission statement of community building. I mean, Meta's mission statement is literally to give.
Yeah, I thought all of these platforms were supposed to be a public square where people could actually build community. Forget I always say, in terms of online, infiltrators and all that stuff. Just forget about that for a minute. Like, the purpose of it supposed to build community. Then maybe if you don't live far from each other, maybe you can meet in a place and really organize on the ground or something like that, you know. But in terms of like what you actually organizing for, I guess with these tech companies, yeah, it's a problem. Like, isn't Facebook like the same one that had all these the Proud Boys and all these other organizations to 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 build community to build J6? I hate bringing it up because it's really a nothing burger to me, but it happened on J6. But yeah, like same thing, like come together, for to build community or mutual aid or Palestine or anything like that. But I let it continue.
Give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. So I do think that I did come into this company enamored by the mission statement, which I don't think a lot of people are these days. I think they are coming in for the paycheck. And that's why I think I was so hurt when October 7th happened, and even it started showing even before October 7th. I mean, I think this company has changed a lot, even in just the past 3 years, in terms of focusing on profits over people, in terms of defunding all the social impact projects that.
Yeah, like yeah, Facebook, man. I don't even use it, but my mom always tell me it's an ad when she watch a video on Facebook. It's like an ad, like depending on how long the video is, like every few minutes. Like yeah, like yeah, yeah. When it comes to the money, maybe at first Facebook wasn't so bad, but over time, when the profits start flowing, it becomes yeah. It always profits over people. Like I mean, it's like that with every company, social, big tech, big box stores, Amazon, yeah, all these places. It's no big difference, but that'll continue.
That I had actually initially joined for. I wanted to join the social impact team. They started defunding all those. They started defunding DEI. They started rolling out all these new products and just focusing on numbers. Like just get as many people to view content as possible. Not really caring about what are we even building here. What are those real connections that made Facebook so popular in the beginning? So yeah, I think it was a very harsh awakening for me in terms of what I came to do versus this realization, oh my God, this company is causing far more harm in the world than it is good at this point.
And talk about what happened to you in the end.
Yeah, so my personal story as it relates to Palestine advocacy, so at the start of all of this during October, a lot of us employees started noticing all of these issues of Palestinian content suppression on our platforms. I mean, and then, at that point you had Human Rights Watch releasing a 51-page report. You had Senator Warren and Sanders have written multiple letters. And most importantly, we had our own circles, our own friends reporting on Instagram, like, what is happening? My content is being deleted. So we tried to raise these issues internally. We tried to speak to product teams. We tried to talk to leaders. And then we noticed our own posts internally, so in our employee resource groups, were getting deleted. Now, these were simple messages like, hey, I heard that my colleague here lost family in Palestine. I want to offer my condolences. The post would get deleted. Somebody said,
How quickly?
Very quickly, like same day. It started it started off slowly, but then it would just get into like minutes. It would be gone. People saying, I'm concerned about the human rights crisis that's occurring in Gaza, deleted. I would take very contrasting posts. Like I would see posts that were talking about the Holocaust Remembrance Day, for example, and I would just take the exact same verbiage and replace it with the Nakba, and my posts would get deleted. UN's National Solidarity Day with Palestine, we all got together and we're like, let's write some nice messages to our Palestinian colleagues to offer them some support and during this time. And we wrote about simple things like I wrote about a hip hop group that I came across in Gaza that was teaching children hip hop to keep up spirits, or talking about, Palestinian food, Palestinian clothing. All of these posts were taken down almost immediately.
Wow.
So,
That's wild.
I decided at that point to help write a letter because
Wow. I bet you, I bet either it's no reason or the reason why it was taken down because, hate speech, anti-Semitic, telling, for writing nicely worded posts to your Palestinian brothers and sisters. Yeah. But in the United States, free speech, and also, I don't want nobody coming in here saying, well, Facebook and Twitter, like, they are private companies. They could do whatever they want. Yeah, but again, like, what about the terms of service, though? Like, how is writing nicely worded things to Palestinians? How does that violate terms of service? Because usually, if they take down your content, that means you violate terms of service. So you can't explain that to the see? So I get you. What they say, don't get them in the wash, get them in the rinse. Well, there you go, right there. All right, here we go.
I felt that this was happening kind of in a vacuum. Our posts were getting deleted. I was like, I don't know who else is knowing that this is even happening. So I helped write a letter addressed to our leaders to raise these concerns and appealing to them to please pay attention. And I helped circulate that letter, collected over 450 signatures. When Meta leaders found out about it, they told me to take it down immediately. And when I did not comply within a very short time period, they disabled my system access. So they did not allow me to back into any internal Meta systems for 3 months, put me under investigation for 2 of those months without any insight into what they were even investigating, and deleted the letter, including going into employees' trash cans and deleting the letter, and never addressed the contents of that letter, which I will point out is a very direct violation of worker rights to organize, according to the NLRB. So after 3 months, I did start posting on social.
Yeah, I hope this woman, man, some lawsuits need to be coming. Yeah, and you look into that about lawsuits, man. Yeah, like, see what I'm saying? Like, see? Wow.
Media about my experiences. I wonder if that scared them a little bit, but they did just they could contact me after 2 months. They're like, okay, the investigation is over. You can come back, without again providing me any information on what were you even investigating for that long. So I came back, continued my worker organizing. At this point, I do feel like I just had a target on my back. And what I was ultimately fired for was I made a personal copy of a 47-page report that employees had voluntarily put together to summarize the issues of Palestinian suppression on our platforms. And this was, again, not a work report. This was just us trying to summarize what we'd already been discussing for the past few months. And
imagine, like, during 9/11, let's say we had Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and people, had the internet like it is now. We had internet back then, but it wasn't as intuitive as it is now. And people were saying that, maybe 9/11 was an inside job. Maybe the United States planned for this to happen, to give an excuse to invade the Middle East. Yeah, you think they suppressing us over pro-Palestine content? Yeah, they'll definitely suppress us over that. Like, at that time, a lot of people were more patriotic. Like, even like Liz herself, she'll tell you herself, like, hey, when that happened, like, before we knew what we know now. Yeah, I was like that. I like, damn, man, that was fucked up. Like, these people over the Middle East, man, Al Qaeda, man, like, but I realized, but I didn't know at the time that Al Qaeda worked with the members of Al Qaeda worked with the CIA. See what I'm saying? Like, that's why we say 9/11 was an inside job. Like, same shit. Like, say things that they don't want you to say, things that they don't want you to say, yeah, you get fired or suppressed. Like I just thought about that while she was talking. I'm like, same logic. Apply the same logic to that time period.
They said it was data exfiltration. They said I was putting employees at risk because there were some employees' names on there. Never mind that we're putting actual Palestinian lives at risk by suppressing this information.
Yep.
And they conducted an investigation. They fired me. After they fired me, they threatened to sue me if I didn't delete any information I had on.
You'll be back. Emus can't help people.
Since then, I've just been advocating expression of Palestinian content and Meta's support of the apartheid regime through its. This isn't so much talked about, but Meta is also providing data to the IDF. In the last 6-month report, it was shown that they responded to.
Wow, did I hear that? I'm not surprised though. And you know what else? I'm not surprised. It was, yeah. I think Twitter doing the same thing too. Yep. Twitter doing the same thing too. I just heard. Yeah. I heard that before. Like they're literally like, no. I think Twitter is providing information to the Israeli government. So yeah. See what I'm saying? Like they don't want us talking about pro-Palestine content. They don't at all. And Google as well. Ain't Google servers providing Israel? So yeah, that kind of do make sense. Why your stuff gets suppressed? That makes sense. Big tech.
1,067 data requests by the IDF, for which they complied with most of the requests, and the number of data that they provided to Palestinians, 0. So I still feel a very strong connection to Meta and like the responsibility I have to do what I can to hold it accountable and raise awareness that we need more public pressure and more accountability for how Meta is violating digital rights.
Data requests, like for instance, give me an example of what the IDF would be asking about.
So that's the issue. They don't disclose what the actual information is. I had posted internally in one of the product work groups raising this issue that the public and even employees deserve to have transparency on what is the data that is being shared. And they deleted my post. They just want to suppress it. They want to claim that they're transparent because it is publicly available on their website, which they call Meta's transparency portal. They disclose the number of requests. They don't tell us what.
Yeah, Meta's transparency portal for us to like not tell you everything we fucking do. Like, isn't Facebook the worst? Yeah, Facebook is the worst platform in terms of your data. So I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Yeah, it would be nice to know, Meta. Like, what data are you sharing to the IDF? Like, oh boy,
actually was in those requests, which is the crux of the problem. There's no transparency. There's no transparency with Meta.
Well, one would assume that this is personal information about Palestinians. Would that be a correct assumption?
If they don't tell us what's in it, we're going to assume that. And a lot of these concerns from employees was raised after the article came out from 972 about WhatsApp metadata being used in Lavender to kill Palestinians. And we asked, hey, is Meta providing WhatsApp metadata to the IDF?
Yeah, because I just started thinking about it. I thought WhatsApp supposed to be encrypted. Like, I thought Meta said even they don't access your WhatsApp messages. See what I'm saying? Like, nothing is safe, man. Nothing is safe. You got the NSA/CIA spying on us. Then you got Meta collecting all of your data. And Twitter as well. Elon wants your data, more of your data. Like, none of these platforms are safe, man. Google doing the same thing as well, too. So, none of these platforms are safe. Um, like I'm not surprised. Like, yeah, that kind of do make sense. Hey, Palestinian communicating on WhatsApp, asking for help or whatnot. Let's take that Palestinian, send it to the IDF, so the IDF can geotag them people and the dude knows what to those people. So, oh, it's a mess. Like Sabbath say, it's a mess.
And again, if you're not transparent about what it is, the public is just going to be left assuming the worst.
Hussam, you were the latest to lose your job, October. Maybe you can talk about your own experience.
Sure. I mean, I think I want to also echo what Tarek was saying earlier, that this does not really start on October 7th of last year. My own experience with retaliation, repression, intimidation at Microsoft started like mere months after I had joined the company, before even turning my 1 year anniversary. It was in 2022 when it was shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine, and then Microsoft, like many other American companies, just stopped selling any technology in Russia whatsoever. And I posted a question on an internal forum that is specifically designed to ask questions.
The crazy thing is, all of these American companies stopped working with Russia, but has Russia suffered because of it? Like, shit. Oh man, like, yeah. I just thought about that as well.
To leadership during a regularly scheduled Q&A, and I praised Microsoft for taking a principled stand for international law, for human rights, and for applying its own policies that it commits to uphold human rights around the globe. And I simply asked, when do we decide to uphold these policies? Is it only when it's politically convenient? Is it only when the victims are white? And I mentioned multiple examples when we have not applied the same standard. One of the examples, I mean, I mentioned the Uyghur Muslims in China. I mentioned the bombings of Iraq and Syria and Yemen. But then one of the examples I mentioned is when previous year in 2021, when Israel was murdering innocent Palestinian children and women, there wasn't even, a statement of solidarity, let alone like kind of taking a more principled stance. And simply asking that question was enough to prompt an internal investigation by HR, where the first accusation that was made against me is remarkably that I was singling out Israel, which is funny because I was doing the exact opposite, and they were the ones who were singling out.
Oh God, typical Zionist sympathizers rhetoric. Oh, you criticizing Israel? You shouldn't do that. You singling out Israel. Why? Because he realized that even 2021, see what I'm saying? Like, I give people credit and credit is due, talking about this occupation before October 7th. Like, how is he singling out Israel? He just, like, I thought that, like he said, Microsoft stands on principles. Like, he just basically speaking out on truth. Oh, God. Oh, God. In like my last segment, I talked about the TikTok thing. Like, this is why they banned TikTok. Like, hey, I bet y'all if TikTok was pushing out pro-Israel content, pro Israel, I mean pro-Ukraine content, let's say that as well. The same with like these people. What's them doing the opposite? Like, they'll still have their jobs. Like, see what I'm saying? Like, it's like being on the wrong side of history is a benefit than being on the right side of history. When you're on the right side of history, your name get pushed through the mud, you get suppressed, you get censored, you get ridiculed, you get fired from your job, from your livelihood. By the way, like, these people had jobs, like, they gotta pay the bills. It's a shame, man. Like, but you gotta say to yourself, like, us, us on the ATP network. Let's say me and Liz, Left Indy, these people, Chris Hedges, like Max Blumenthal, like, all of us are right, like, in terms of this Israel-Palestine situation. Like, we will be vindicated eventually. Like, I guess we getting there now. Like, more time goes on, like, people like, damn, this shit, yeah, Israel is the enemy here. So yeah, and sorry for my camera doing this, guys. It has focusing issues. I have to fix that. I need another camera anyway. Um, but let me continue, man. Like, yeah, play a few more minutes of this, and I'm gonna call it quits for the day.
Israel. And I spent 2 hours in this HR call, being grilled about my political views. The HR person who was interviewing me later revealed that she was Israeli herself and that her own biases was informing like why she was talking to me in the first place. She asked me questions such as, "Are you aware that Arabs are actually thriving in Israel?" When I pointed out that multiple human rights organizations had labeled Israel as an apartheid regime.
What? What? Boy, that's they say that's bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Huh? This was apartheid. It was apartheid state. Like, how is Muslims thriving? Muslims are not thriving in Israel. That's the point. Like, they want to ethnically cleanse Gaza. What? Okay. I'm gonna leave that for y'all to talk about amongst yourself. Like, yeah. That's,
And then after 2 hours of that intimidation, I basically made it clear to her that I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to apologize for what I said. And I did nothing wrong. And basically I told her if this is a fireable offense, like you can go ahead and fire me. And then after that incident, I mean, a month after, she concluded her investigation and told me that there has been no violation found. But it was clearly an attempt at silencing and intimidation. And it showed to me the bar of acceptable discourse and internal dissent. Like that simply asking a question where Palestine is mentioned is not acceptable. Um, so that was my first interaction with that system that systematically dehumanizes Palestinians. Then you fast forward to October 7th of 2023, where the very first thing, that first Monday, first business day, we all get an email that says, "We stand with Israel," right? A couple of days later, they like on October 9 or October 10, Kathleen Hogan, who is the head of HR, she releases the statement on, in to the public kind of internal forum, and every single employee can see it, again, saying we stand with Israel, offering resources and support to Israeli employees, mourning the tragic loss of civilian lives and call it like and the horrible terrorist attack and whatever. At that point, already hundreds of children had been killed in Gaza. Not a mention of Palestinians at all. Not a mention of Gaza, of Palestine, of the brewing genocide at the time. There was one sentence where she even mentioned Palestinian employees, and she said, we have Palestinian employees who are concerned for the safety of their loved ones and condemn these terrible acts of terrorism. That was the one sentence where Palestinians were even mentioned. And then myself and many, many others uh, started calling out the double standard and the hypocrisy and simply saying, why do the Palestinian lives not have value in this company?
If you think what happened in Maui, North Carolina,
And simply, like Tarek was saying, simply asking them for equal recognition, simply asking them to even like in the Benevity portal, in the donation portal, they had a big banner with the Israeli flag that says "We stand with Israel" and encouraging employees to go and donate to Israeli organizations. And then,
that's wild. That's crazy. Um, oh man, like, yeah, yeah, like, you know, no, Palestinian lives don't matter to these companies. No. We stand with Israel. It's like all of these companies, man, are just infiltrated with either APAC sympathizers or pro or Zionists. It's just same thing, really. But like, wow, like I'm pretty sure these people are seeing the same things we are seeing. I think yeah, it's a double standard. Like he said, it really is. It's always a double standard in everything. Like like I said, like it it comes to the point in time where like man, like damn, like all of these companies are pro Israel. Like Apple, Microsoft, I remember, people boycotting Starbucks, Pepsi, Coca Cola, I think, um, KFC, Pizza Hut, like all these places. But damn, man, like tech as well, like Facebook, like damn, it gonna come to a point in time where I might have to just use Linux or something. Like hell, like like hell. I hope Linux ain't part of ain't pro Israel, but holy shit, man! Like I'm just running out of words to say because yeah, I'm gonna let this play for a few minutes. Then I'm gonna get my final thoughts. This is wild, man.
Why weren't there not even, donations for the Palestinians promoted in the same way? Um, and obviously, all these conversations, all these questions went nowhere. They tried to suppress us over the course of months after that. They suppressed, deleted, harassed, intimidated Arab, Muslim, Palestinian, and pro-Palestinian employees who tried to call out this issue. In some cases, they selectively applied their policies in really obvious ways. In other ways, they completely invented new policies altogether when the existing policies didn't fit their narrative. As a simple example, after some Palestinian group tried to invite a speaker to speak about Palestine, they shut down the event. They claimed it was not compliant. They put a 90-day pause on any employee group hosting any event until they come up with new guidelines for these communities. And basically, the new guidelines said that no employee group is allowed to invite any external speaker whatsoever. And even more ridiculously, they even prohibited any sort of events that they deemed educational. And that educational clause was then used to suppress any mention of Palestine on the basis that this is educational, including a friend of mine who's a Palestinian coworker who was blocked and censored for months from being able to talk about her own family history in a regularly scheduled like employee spotlight series because she was talking about the Nakba, because her family is originally from Palestine and was displaced outside of Palestine. And because now you're being educational, why are you
That's
talking
right.
about history, right? So that was as an umbrella term to block any sort of mention of the word Palestine. Myself and a group of other employees started No Azure for Apartheid, which is an employee-led group aiming to end our relationship with the Israeli military. We started kind of doing more research into Microsoft's relationship with Israel. We discovered things that were shocking even to me,
Wow.
honestly, about how Microsoft is deeply embedded in the Israeli war machine, how Microsoft was before Project Nimbus and in many ways continues to be one of the main cloud providers to the Israeli government, which is essential
Wow.
in oiling its war machine that is committing these massacres against my people. And then at some point, I kept talking about these issues internally. I had a 3 months investigation at some point launched by HR against me, simply for asking for putting a comment on an internal forum that said that with or without, I'm quoting here, like, with or without your sympathy, Palestinians will attain the dignity, the freedom, the liberation, and the respect that they deserve everywhere from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. That was enough to launch a 3 months investigation, which resulted in, before I was even fired, resulted in.
So basically, he was fired for saying, as we all say, from the river to the sea. That's what the Mediterranean River connects to the Jordan River. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I guess he says anti-Semitic. Uh, it's crazy.
Extreme sanctions, every single lever they could pull short of termination, including financial sanctions, including having zero bonus that year, zero stock
Wow.
awards, zero salary increase, including not being able to be promoted for a whole year. Meanwhile, dozens of these hateful anti-Arab, anti-Muslim comments that we reported, including someone calling me a member of Hamas, someone calling me a terrorist, someone calling me no one who simply hates Jews, and again, remarkably,
Yeah, yeah. I'm ended there. Um, yeah. Same on Twitter. Like, I mean, you get called every name in the book for speaking out against what Israel's doing, and you called, yeah, Hamas sympathizer. Um, terrorists. Nothing gets done to them. You report them to Twitter, for example, because I be on Twitter. I used to be on Twitter a lot at the time, and Twitter seeing emails saying, this person did not violate our terms of service, but they technically did. They wish me to unalive myself, or yeah. But I say do this and say fuck Israel, and I get a notification saying my post has limited visibility. So yeah, it's like see the double standard. Like these three people that you just saw, like their livelihoods have been taken away from them because they spoke up for Palestine. Like, but I pray every day that everybody that um that speaks up against what Israel is doing, speaking up for the Palestinian people. Like we on the right side of history, man. Like that's the bright side of this. Israel's reputation has been tarnished thanks to TikTok. But yeah.